Can you pack up the campsite?
Set this up, please. Kaiden. Take it down, please. Kaiden. Carry all this shit. Kaiden. Good thing she's cute, eh?
I don't know. It's like a ward, but who's casting it? Ancano? How?
I don't care what it is. I want it down now. I want to know what he's doing in there. I don't know what he's doing, but he won't get away with it.
What's going on?
Ancano. He's in there doing something. We don't know what. We're trying to get in now. I will have his head for this, I assure you. Help take this down, will you? We're throwing everything we can at it.
We need to find out what What's going on?
Ancano, stop this at once. I command you.
Don't go near him! Are you all right? Can you walk? I need you on your feet. We're in trouble here.
I think I'm okay.
Ancano is doing something with that thing, the eye. We can't stop him. I haven't seen Savo since the explosion. He must have been blown clear, and he may be injured. I need you to find the Archmage, and I need you to do it quickly. Get moving.
What happened?
I'll be fine. I just need a minute to catch my breath. Find Savos.
I bloody well said it was a...
I'm going to find
What's
whoever
happened?
did
Are you
this.
all right?
What
What happened in there?
It's Ancano. He's done something with the eye.
By the nine, is he responsible for this? The Archmage? Dead? There's more. Something's happened to Winterhold. It must be whatever Ancano did. You need to get out there and make sure it's safe. Quickly now, quickly. I'll find Mirabelle and see if we can't put a stop to this.
Is he dead?
I'm going to find whoever did this.
What's going on? What happened in there?
Something went wrong. Winterhold may be in danger. Can you help?
It may be in danger? Take a look. I don't think there's much question. Let's get down there. We have to do something. Come on, Arneal. Let's go.
Do we have to? They'd never lift a finger to help us.
I'm sorry it came to that. Poor bugger.
I will protect you, Dragonborn.
house. Every fucking time.
Arneal, stay on your guard. We can't let harm come to these people.
Well, is everything out there all right?
Winterhold is safe for now.
Wish I could say the same for us. Tolfdir and I can try and keep this contained. You need to get your hands on the Staff of Magnus, now.
Then I'm off to Labyrinthian.
What? Are you sure? The staff is there. That can't be a coincidence.
What are you talking about?
The Archmage. He gave me something just a little while ago. He told me it was from Labyrinthian and that I would know what to do with it when the time came. I think he meant this for you then. I'm not sure why, but there was something very personal about it for him. I think you should take this amulet. It belonged to Savos, but I think it would do you the most good now. Take it and get out of here. Bring back that staff before Ancano brings the whole college down around us.
Enchanting services are one of the
Come on, we're finally here. Let's not waste any more time.
Are we truly sure this is a good idea?
Those spirits.
We'll be back at the college before anyone even knows we're gone.
You would care about that, since you're the Archmage's favorite.
Don't forget, this whole idea was Atma's to begin with.
Let's just get inside. See what's in there.
How did they find us? Well, bloody done.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Can you imagine the looks on their faces when we come back?
You keep talking like you're sure we'll find something useful in here.
Given the history of this place, it's more than likely there's still some amount of power here.
Enchanted weapons, tomes of ancient knowledge, Shalador's secrets themselves. Who knows what we could find?
And what if there are things guarding this place?
Against 6 college-trained mages? I think we'll be fine.
Feeling someone's soul pass through you, barely able to wrap my mind around that, and I've seen you do it.
We have to go back. We can't leave Gerduin.
We barely made it out alive. And you want to go back in?
It's too late. There isn't enough of him left to go back in after.
Gods, what have we done?
We can't go back. Might as well go forward. We can still do this.
Savos is right. We can make it if we just stay alert.
Save me guttural language of yours.
Where we're going? Or are you just lost and you don't want to admit it?
Darling, I think we're about to have company of the hostile kind.
Disease, little shit! You little shit!
Danger lies ahead. Keep your eyes open.
I can see. Shiver from here, love. Stay close. I'll keep you warm.
You little shit.
Riddance. Keep your guard up.
Preserve the strength in me.
I suppose.
Just another minute, please.
Come on! We can't stop now. We have to keep moving.
Where's Elvely? She was right behind me.
Dead. Something grabbed her from behind. Gone before I could do anything.
This is insanity. We never should have come here.
You're right. This is all my fault. Should we turn around, head back?
I don't think going back is a good idea.
Going back would be the end of all of us. We keep pushing forward and we'll make it. We will!
Come on, you can make it. Let's go.
To be spilled here will be your own. What don't you play silly beggars with me?
stay close to me.
You'll die this day. What else could we do? Stay there and die with her? She refused to go on. We didn't have a choice.
This is it, you know. Through this door. Can you feel it?
We're not going to make it, are we?
We stay together, no matter what. Agreed?
I'll be right with you.
Agreed. We all stay together.
Murky. This one gives you 100% magical regeneration. Okay, so this one's good. I just want to know why all these masks are so fucking ugly.
You found it! Great bloody job!
I'm sorry, friends. I'm so sorry. I had no choice. It was the only way to make sure that monster never escaped. I promise you, I'll never let this happen again. I'll seal this whole place away.
I'll keep watch.
So, you made it out of there alive. Ankana was right. You are dangerous. I'm afraid I'll have to take that stuff from you now. Ankana wants it kept safe. Oh, and he wants you dead. Nothing personal.
Get out of my way.
You fool. You don't stand a chance. You're dead.
The fight. Serves DD right. big fucking smelly troll. I was just doing what I do best.
Don't cross me, elf.
I...
I'm going to enjoy this.
You survived. You have it then? Let's hope it's as powerful as the Psijics believe it to be.
Where's Mirabelle?
She didn't make it. When it was clear we were going to have to fall back, she stayed behind and made sure the rest of us were all right.
Let's get in there.
I'll be right behind you.
I'll be amazed if any of us survive this.
I've got nothing left.
You know, Hawk was confused the fuck out of me. I mean, how can something that fucking ugly taste so fucking good?
You've come for me, have you? You think I don't know what you're up to? You think I can't destroy you? The power to unmake the world at my fingertips. And you think you can do anything about it? Ha! I am beyond your pathetic attempts at magic. You cannot touch me.
The staff! Use it from behind!
Enough! Still you persist? Very well. Come then. See what I can do now. No!
Picking a fight now, eh?
I cannot defeat.
shit. Tough.
I knew you could do it.
What do we do now?
I don't know. Ancano is gone, but whatever he's done to the Eye doesn't seem to have stopped. I have no idea what to do.
We knew you would succeed. Your victory here justifies our belief in you. You have proven yourself more than worthy to guide the College of Winterhold.
What do we do now?
The Eye has grown unstable. It cannot remain here, or else it may destroy your college and this world. It must be secured. Ancano's actions prove that the world is not ready for such a thing. We shall safeguard it, for now. You now have the opportunity to maintain your college and carry on with your lives. You have our gratitude, Archmage.
Destiny has certainly put its hand on that one. You've done it! The college is safe again thanks to your work. I knew you had it in you. I dare say the Psijics are right. There's no one more deserving to be Archmage, in my opinion. Here, consider these yours, and the Archmage's quarters as well. I shall be here for advice, should you need me.
You look like you could use a hand.
Well, yes. This is rather embarrassing, but it seems I've misplaced something. I can't find my alembic. I suppose I could use another one, but, well, it sounds silly, but mine has sentimental value. If you happen to see it, would you mind bringing it to me?
What was it you were missing?
My alembic. I need it for some research and can't seem to find it. Take care now.
Tolfdir lost his alembic. Alright, let's find it then. But I'm sure he'll lose it again, and again, and again. I like it here.
That smile doesn't just make my heart race. It makes my blood fucking burn. Come here.
So, what are we doing tonight?
For 300 years, I have been a priestess of Azura, the Daedric princess of Moonshadow, mother of the rose and queen of the night sky. Every Hoggatham, which we celebrate on the 21st of First Seed, we summon her for guidance, as well as to offer things of worth and beauty to Her Majesty. She is a cruel but wise mistress. We do not invoke her on any Hoggatham troubled by thunderstorms, for those nights belong to the Mad One, Sheogorath, even if they do coincide with the occasion. Azura, at such times, understands our caution. Azura's invocation is a very personal one. I have been priestess to 3 other Daedric princes, but Azura values the quality of her worshippers, and the truth behind our adoration of her. When I was a dark elven maid of 16, I joined my grandmother's coven, worshippers of Molag Bal, the schemer princess. Blackmail, extortion, and bribery are as much the weapons of the witches of Molag Bal as is dark magic. The invocation of Molag Bal is held on the 20th of Evening Star, except during stormy weather. The ceremony is seldom missed, but Molag Bal often appears to her cultists in mortal guise on other dates. When my grandmother died in an attempt to poison the air of Firewatch, I re-examined my faith in the cult. My brother was a wizard of the cult of Boethia, and from what he told me, the Dark Warrior was closer to my spirit than the treacherous Molag Bal. Boethia is a warrior princess who acts more overtly than any other Daedra. After years of skulking and scheming, it felt good to perform acts for a mistress which had direct, immediate consequences. Besides, I liked it that Boethia was a Daedra of the Dark Elves. Our cult would summon her on the day we called the Gauntlet, the 2nd of Sun's dusk. Bloody competitions would be held in her honor, and the duels and battles would continue until 9 cultists were killed at the hands of other cultists. Boethia cared little for her cultists. She only cared for our blood. I do think I saw her smile when I accidentally slew my brother in a sparring session. My horror, I think, greatly pleased her. I left the cult soon after that. Boethia was too impersonal for me, too cold. I wanted a mistress of greater depth. For the next 18 years of my life, I worshipped no one. Instead, I read and researched. It was in an old and profane tome that I came upon the name of Nocturnal. Nocturnal the Night Mistress. Nocturnal the Unfathomable. As the book prescribed, I called to her on her holy day, the 3rd of Hearthfire. At last I had found the personal mistress I had so long desired. I strove to understand her labyrinthine personality, the source of her mysterious pain. Everything about her was dark and shrouded, even the way she spoke and the acts she required of me. It took years for me to understand the simple fact that I could never understand Nocturnal. Her mystery was as essential to her as savagery was to Boethia or treachery was to Molag Bal. To understand Nocturnal is to negate her, to pull back the curtains cloaking her realm of darkness. As much as I loved her, I recognized the futility of unraveling her enigmas. I turned instead to her sister, Azura. Azura is the only Daedra princess I have ever worshipped who seems to care about her followers. Molag Bal wanted my mind, Boethia wanted my arms, and Nocturnal perhaps my curiosity. Azura wants all of that, and our love above all. Not our abject slavering, but our honest and genuine caring in all its forms. It is important to her that our emotions be engaged in her worship, and our love must also be directed inward. If we love her and hate ourselves, she feels our pain. I will, for all time, have no other mistress.
Scourge of the Grey Quarter by Frogeth Horsebreaker. A complaint on the presence and behavior of the growing Dunmer population of Skyrim. The tragedies befalling Morrowind to bring forth pity from even the stoutest Nordic heart. The Dark Elves deserve our condolences, but thus far they do not show themselves deserving of the simplest acts of charity. There are very different approaches to how to deal with the imminent problem of Morrowind, and I offer two options as seen in practice in Skyrim. One should serve as an exemplar, the other a cautionary tale. Consider Riften, which shares a border with the ruined province. A number of the Dark Elves have made their homes there, but they are expected to earn their livelihoods, as is any other citizen of the great city. They ply trades as merchants, work in the temple, and serve in the keep. Honest labor, to be admired from a race that was so recently in such dire straits as to even warrant this discussion. Today the city still has its share of problems, but they are not traceable to any influx of outsiders in their presence. In short, the Dark Elves have properly assimilated themselves into the Skyrim way of life, to be expected from any newcomer to these lands. For an alternative approach, we only have to look at the once proud city of Windhelm to see what can happen when our arms are cast too wide open in welcome. To think that the city of Iskramor, whose very name was made in driving out the elves from our sacred home, would open itself as a welcome destination for any refugee from the smoking sulphur. It's a disgrace to the very idea of being a Nord. And what has become of this? Predictably, the lazy, discontented rabble has descended into squalor in an area now delicately referred to as the Grey Quarter of the city. They were not expected to contribute, and so have not. That they attempt to make over a proud Nord city into a little pocket of Morrowind is insulting enough, but the amount of unrest that they have provoked, even within the proper city walls, should give any other Jarl reason to fear. The Nords I talk to in the city speak of constant strife and crime coming from the Grey Quarter, with no respite in sight. The city guard barely patrol there, leaving the Dark Elves to mete out whatever passes for justice in their native customs. The respectable families of the city, the Cruel Seas and the Shatter Shields, speak with an almost parental affection of the Argonians in their employ, but the Dark Elves, they've made no effort to ingratiate or assimilate themselves to the proper city dwellers. There is cause for optimism, though, as Jarl Ulfric is not nearly so tolerant of these substandard beings as his fathers were. Indeed, the soft hand of Hoag can be seen in the city's Argonian population as well. The fishmen, at least, have learned how to best contribute to their new home. They have proven themselves as models, toiling at the docks with the utmost efficiency and bright smiles. It would do the Dark Elves well to pay heed to their scaly cousins. I would expect, in due course, that they will find themselves either contributing more directly or once again wandering the land in search of a roof and warmth.
The Amulet of Kings by Wenegris Monhana chronicles the creation of the Amulet of Kings. In the first years of the First Era,
a powerful race of elves called the Eyleeds, or the Heartland High Elves, ruled central Tamriel with an iron hand. The high and haughty Eyleeds relied on their patrons, the treacherous Daedra lords, to provide armies of Daedra and dead spirits. With these fearless magical armies, the Eyleeds preyed without mercy upon the young races of men, slaughtering or enslaving them at their whim. On behalf of the suffering human races, Saint Alicia, the first in the line of Cyrodiils, sought the aid of Akatosh, the dragon god of time, and ruler of the noble Aedra. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed Saint Alicia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alicia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavor to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Eyleeds. In token of this covenant, Akatosh gave to Alicia and her descendants the Amulet of Kings and the eternal dragon fires of the Imperial City. Thus does Alicia become the first gem in the Cyrodiilic Amulet of Kings. The gem is the red diamond in the middle of the amulet. This is the symbol of the Empire, and later taken as the symbol of the Septim line. It is surrounded by 8 other gems, one for each of the divines. So long as the Empire shall maintain its worship of Akatosh and his kin, and so long as Alicia's heirs shall bear the Amulet of Kings, Akatosh and his divine kin maintain a strong barrier between Tamriel and oblivion, so that mortal men never need again fear the devastating summoned hosts of the Daedra lords. But if the Empire should slacken in its dedication to the 9 divines, or if the blood of Alicia's heirs should fail, then shall the barriers between Tamriel and the Daedric realms fall, and Daedra worshippers might summon lesser Daedra and undead spirits to trouble the races of men.
Notes of Shalador. Research notes of Shalador detailing his creation of the Fortify School enchantments by converting the dragon enchantment on Korthor into an enchantment mortals could use. I've done it. I've managed to steal from Akatosh, or rather, I've stolen from his children, the dragons. In my research of the dragon priests, I found the last resting place of Korthor, one of the greatest mages of the dragon cult. Poor bastard managed to catch the attention of that gibbering fool Sheogorath, most likely from having the sort of logical mindset any truly great mage will have cultivated on his way to greatness. Or perhaps he just happened to wear a color that Sheogorath decided had offended him that day. There's no real way of knowing the reasoning of a madman, much less a mad god. Regardless of the reason, he decided to gift Korthor with the Fork of Horripilation, which permanently damaged his magicka reserves. Whatever dragon he served took pity on him, however, and crafted him a mask which reduced the cost of any spell Korthor cast. Now the mask is in my hands, though, and it has ceded all its secrets to me. No, it has ceded not just its secrets, but the secret of all artifacts crafted by the dragons. I found the reason why the enchantments of the dragons are beyond the ability of mortal enchanters to understand, much less craft. The answer, of course, is simple beyond belief to one as learned as Shalador. Dragon enchantments are different from mortal enchantments, because dragons use not the souls of beasts, or even men or mer. No, dragons use the souls of their brethren to power their enchantments, and thus the divine spark of Akatosh himself. Once this is known, the form of the enchantment can be grasped and even adapted to using mortal souls, such as what I have accomplished with Korthor. Of course, mortal souls, lacking the divine spark, will produce weaker enchantments. My own attempts to copy Korthor can produce, in effect, only a tenth as powerful as the original, even with the most powerful of souls. However, I have found a way to split the effects of the enchantment into several, each affecting only certain types of spells. I shall be retiring to Brondyanar to further study these divisions, and what can be gleaned from them in the foundations of magic. I shall also seek out Mordecai, a contemporary of Korthor's, whose mask was said to supplement his meager magicka stores to allow them to complement his prodigious skills and allow him to better serve his masters, and see if I can incorporate his mask's enchantment into Korthor's. Now the only question is, how do I choose a successor to lead the college in my absence? Perhaps a trial of some sort? I've had far too many curiosity seekers and interlopers here, despite my secluded locale. I've decided to hide the mask right under the noses of those in the college who would seek to disturb me and take the mask. So if they seek to steal the mask from the barrow, they will be fruitlessly wandering. Shalador's Maze Clue. Enter twice, exit only once. Alteration will lead you to destruction. Only illusion shows the way to restoration. Conjure not, but be conjured instead. "36 Lessons of Vivek's Sermon 15. These were the days of Resdania, when Keimer and Dwemer lived under the wise and benevolent rule of the Ampsivi and their champion, the Hortitor. When the gods of Veloth would retreat unto their own to mold the cosmos and other matters, the Hortitor would at times become confused. Vivek would always be there to advise him, and this is the third of the 3 lessons of ruling kings. The ruling king will remove me, his maker. This is the way of all children. His greatest enemy is the Sharmat, who is the false dreamer. You or he is the Shingle Hortitor. Beware the wrong walking path. Beware the crime of benevolence. Behold him by his words. I am the Sharmat. I am older than music. What I bring is light. What I bring is a star. What I bring is an ancient sea. When you sleep, you see me. Dancing at the core, it is not a blight, it is my house. I put a star into the world's mouth to murder it. Tear down the pylons, my blind fish swim in the new phlogiston. Tear down the pylons, my deaf moons sing and burn and orbit me. I am older than music. What I bring is light, what I bring is a star, what I bring is an ancient sea. You alone, though you come again and again, can unmake him. Whether I allow it is within my wisdom. Go unarmed into his den with these words of power. E gartak padome kim I altun. Or do not. Temporal myth is mad. Reach heaven by violence. This magic I give to you. The world you will rule is only an intermittent hope, and you must be the letter written in uncertainty. The ending of the words is Amsivi.
Archmage of Winterhold. If I'm not mistaken, that's more prestigious than a High Court wizard. Congratulations.
It's a little unexpected.
Maybe, but it was probably a smart move. You're known through all of Skyrim. Having you as the symbolic head of the college will probably improve the Nord's opinions of it. And you did save all of Winterhold from destruction. I'd say you've earned a bit of recognition.
How do you feel about my magic now I'm Archmage?
I've always had trust in you. And I know that you always do what is right and good for everyone. And that's why I don't spurn your magic. Because I know that you do everything with care and consideration and love. And your magic, well, it's beautiful. Just like you. I have a powerful need to hold you in my arms and feel those lips against mine right now. Can you smell magic in the air too? It smells like a rainless thunderstorm. Might find some hawkers up the coast. Nothing like a hawker steak.
Close enough. You picked a bad time to get lost, friend. Looky here. Looks like we got ourselves a hero.
That can't be good.
Could be anyone's. Won't get one rusty septum from me. Looking for the blade? You want the first?
can't thank you enough. Why the bandits in...
It's actually quite beautiful here.
Someone there? Thought I heard something.
You can't hide from me!
Huh?
Nothing here after all. I'm going to find whoever did this, and when...
Huh?
Codlec White Mane is in a better place now. Or is there any place better than Salvage?
Have you ever thought of taking to the sea? Just leaving the world behind?
What is it? Do you have one of the razor fragments?
I have all the pieces of the razor.
All at once? You're efficient. I like that. Here's your reward. Finally, all the pieces of Mehrune's razor are in my hands. It's time I let you in on something. There's a fourth piece, that scabbard in the display case, built to house the razor, and there's more. I know how to put all the pieces together. We just need to take them to Dagon's shrine and contact the Lord of Change directly.
You think Dagon will repair the razor?
Ever since I was a boy, I felt this strange sense of destiny surrounding the Mythic Dawn cult, and now I know what it is. Don't you see? Fate has led you to me and to the pieces. Dagon has to answer our call. We're so close. I'll meet you at the shrine.
Yes, darling.
What do you think of the museum?
Nothing I haven't seen before. Oh, it's a little twisted to put it all on display like that.
You've seen all this before?
Well, not these specific items, but copies of the doctrine. Remakes of the outfits. Alright then.
We should be wary. We could lose far more than we gain, but I will trust your judgment on this.
this hard. Fine. You bloody done.
Mighty voice of the Dragon of the North! You don't know who you're messing with.
I'll get you yet.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Motherfuckers.
And I'm gonna have to start fighting with me fucking eyes closed so I don't get distracted. Knowing what
far and what to expect. Seeing it takes me by surprise every time. I'm not sure how I'll ever get used to it.
What was that? I knew it.
Die! Ugh, I don't feel comfortable here. Bad memories, you understand. Can we go? We really shouldn't be here.
Why?
Shrines are conduits to their princes, and this is the shrine of Mehrune's Dagon. Let's just leave.
Who's Mehrune's Dagon?
Really? You don't know? He's the Daedric Prince of Destruction and Revolution. There are few as purely evil. Dagon was the cause of the Oblivion Crisis 2 centuries ago. He was the one who ended the last Dragonborn bloodline. Before you. What's next?
Good. You're here. I'll place the pieces on the altar, and Dagon should speak to us.
That cave could make good shelter.
Mehrune's
Provided we
Dagon,
clear out
the
whatever's
Lord of
inside.
Change. We have brought your razor to you. We beg you, please, bring the blade's full glory to Tamriel again. It's not working. Why don't you give it a try? Just put your hands on the altar.
You, mortal, you are worthy of speaking to. You have claimed the pieces of my razor. It has been an amusing game to witness. But Dagon does not declare a winner while there is a pawn on the board. Kill Silas. He and his family have served their purpose.
He helped me find the pieces. He deserves to live.
Only Dagon can declare if a pawn is worth keeping. I have spoken. Kill him. Take your rightful place as my champion, or I will crush you.
Wait! Don't kill me! There's another way. I can take the pieces back to my museum, seal them in a display case. You get a generous amount of gold, I get to complete my collection, and nobody has to die.
Fine, get out of here.
Thank you. Here's your gold. I'll make a run for it back to Dawnstar.
You think to betray Mehrune's Dagon. Suffer.
And you fuck right off.
this ends. These things are scuffed to the shit! Well, that's gone. How about we catch your breath, have a sip of water, and maybe I can steal a victory kiss or two. Can we go? We really shouldn't be here.
Why?
Shrines are conduits to their princes, and this is the shrine of Mehrune's Dagon. Let's just leave.
What's the problem? You've never been anxious about Daedric shrines before.
This one's different. Please, I'll explain later. Let's just get away from this place.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Thank you. Sooner we're out of here, the better. Your lips look cold. Should I warm them up a bit? I'm here if you need me. I'm glad to be one with your way as well.
No! Come on!
Fuck off! Shit! Are you alright, little dragon? Oh, you jumped out of my chest that fight. I don't know what I'd fucking do if I ever lost you. Stone. This one makes me hard. I mean, makes you hard. You know. Ugh. Damage. Resistance. Ahem. I'm in no mood for this shit. Die, dragon! The Dragonborn will feast on your soul. Give up!
take long enough
I mean, it's always amazing to watch you do that, Dragonborn.
Letter from Raelis Sedaris III by Raelis Sedaris. I hope you're not angry, but I may need some more resources. Come around when you have time.
Orion's notes on the Warlock's Ring. The Warlock's Ring is an artifact originally owned by the Archmage Sirabane, an Aldmeri god ancestor. In appearance, it is a ring with a large gemstone, either red or green in color. It is best known for its ability to reflect spells cast at its wearer, and to fortify the wearer's speed and health, though it may have additional powers. These magical effects are sometimes named Shaldor's Mirror and Feet of Notargo. In the late First Era, Sirabane judiciously used the ring to save many from the Thracian plague. Because of this, he is attributed with helping to save the entire continent of Tamriel. The ring has passed hands many times, helping adventurers to reach their goals. No one may possess the ring for long, as it is said that the ring is Sirabane's alone to command. The Warlock's Ring was uncovered by the Eternal Champion during the Imperial Simulacrum in either Morrowind or elsewhere. Reports vary. Sometime in the Third Era, the ring was taken from a wizard by the Mage's Guild. In death, the wizard's spirit remained bound to Mehrune until one of his descendants sent an adventurer to recover the ring from the Mage's Guild. A fake copy of the ring also appeared in the Iliac Bay before the events of the Warp in the West. It was created by a mage in an attempt to bribe an agent of Nocturnal who has been sent to assassinate him. The fake ring functioned identically to the true artifact, but after several days it crumbled to dust. The ring later came into the possession of Magnusson Brisciana, a Blades operative. Brisciana offered the ring as payment in return for the totem of Tiber Septim, which would give the Empire control of the Numidium. Due to the warp in the West, it's unknown what became of the ring. It is unknown what became of the ring. The ring resurfaced several years later in the possession of Vidmea Drithan, a powerful sorceress who lived in a cave on an island off the shore in Vardenfell, along Azura's coast. News of this reached the Mages Guild, and in 3E427, Drethan was killed by the Nerevarine, who then claimed the ring. Later that year, the Nerevarine sold the ring to Terasa Aram, who put it on display in her Museum of Artifacts in Mournhold. Terasa told me that in the fall of Mournhold, the ring came into the possession of some rather zealous hunters, thinking that the powers of the ring would aid them in their cause of purging the world of their chosen foes. More research indicates that it was a more organized group. I thought perhaps the Dawn Guard at first, but the timing just didn't seem right. Then it hit me. The Silver Hand must be to blame.
Merchant's Journal. I begged my husband not to go, but he just wouldn't listen. He said if he delayed the shipment even another week, the Legion would find someone else to take it south. Let them keep their blasted money. The road to Whiterun is dangerous these days. Everyone knows it. So many caravans have been attacked, so many travelers vanished into thin air. Some say it's only bandits, but there are rumors of worse. Goblins, ghosts, witches. 20 years we've been married now, and I can't bear the thought of losing him. I'm not letting him go alone. Not this time. We live or die together. Mara preserve us.
Guide to Vivec. Principal districts in Vivec City. Vivec City is the largest settlement on Vardenfell and one of the largest cities in the east. Each of the great cantons is the size of a complete town. The High Fane and the Palace of Vivec are visited by hundreds of tourists and pilgrims daily. Citizens flock to the arena for public entertainment like mock battles and comic plays. Outlanders mostly confine themselves to the foreign canton, while natives live, work, and shop in the great house compounds and residential cantons. But most of all, this is Lord Vivec's holy city. The Ministry of Truth, the temple prison, hangs above the great temple of the High Fane, the walls of wisdom and justice, and Lord Vivec's palace. Vivec is a city made up of 8 cantons, each a little town in itself. On a map, it looks like a cross, with the foreign quarter at the top, the temple compound, with Vivec's palace, the High Fane, the Ministry of Truth, and the Hall of Wisdom, and the Hall of Justice at the bottom. The Hlalo compound to the west, the Telvanni compound on the east, and 4 cantons grouped together at the center of the cross. Redoran compound northwest, Arena northeast, St. Dellen's canton southwest, and St. Olm's canton southeast. The foreign quarter. The foreign quarter is the large 3-tiered canton to the north. Originally, foreigners were not allowed to enter Vivec any further than the foreign quarter, but now outlanders can travel through Vivec at will. The imperial guilds each have guild halls and complete services here, and an imperial cult shrine serves the spiritual needs of the imperial faithful. Various independent tradesmen, craftsmen, and trainers also rent space here. The Black Shawl Corner Club rents beds to non-guild visitors. Temple compound. The High Fane is the largest tribunal temple on Vardenfell. Archcanon Sarioni presides over the temple, along with a large staff of priests, healers, and monks. Pilgrims travel from all over Morrowind to view the High Fane and the Ministry of Truth, and to offer prayer and thanks before the Palace of Vivec. The Ministry of Truth, a celestial body suspended by Vivec's mighty power over the temple compound, is the headquarters of the temple ordinators, and heretics are imprisoned and re-educated there. The Hall of Wisdom and the Hall of Justice contain the executive, administrative, judicial, and martial operations of the tribunal temple. The Palace of Vivec is the abode of the god-hero Lord Vivec, the warrior poet of the 3 deities who comprise Amsivi, the divine patrons of the tribunal temple. Only the most devout are admitted to the presence of Lord Vivec, and only at his initiation. Beneath the Palace of Vivec is the Puzzle Canal, a place of worship and testing for questing heroes hoping to receive Vivec's favor. Many choice treasures are guarded by Daedric servants to the Puzzle Canal's dark passages. Hlalo compound. Hlalo compound is the westmost canton. The Hlalo councillor, Crassius Curio, has a splendid tier-top mansion here. The tiers below contain Hlalo treasuries, records, holding cells, and various great house services. There are 2 public houses, the Elven Nations and the No Name Club. A variety of craftsmen and tradesmen have shops in Hlalo compound. Some House Hlalo nobles and retainers prefer to maintain their residences in the less formal St. Dellen and St. Olb's cantons. Telvanni compound. Telvanni compound is the eastmost canton. The Mage Lord Mavon Drennan is the ranking Telvanni noble. Telvanni rent the compound from the temple and have to make do with a Velothi tower instead of their preferred mushroom towers. The administrative center includes a treasury and a hall of records. Slaves are housed in the lowest tiers, along with cells full of monsters. There are many tradesmen, craftsmen, and trainers, and the Lizard's Head Corner Club provides lodgings for Telvanni kin and mercenaries. Redoran compound. Redoran compound is the canton south of the foreign quarter, west of and next to the arena. The Redoran administration center here includes the Redoran treasury, hall of records, and holding cells. The lowest tier is a Redoran shrine and ancestral vaults. 2 noble families, the Sirens and the Drelors, have top-tier manors. There are many tradesmen, craftsmen, and trainers. And the Flowers of Gold Corner Club provides lodgings for Redoran kin and retainers. Arena compound. The Arena compound lies between the Redoran compound to the west and the Telvanni compound on the east. The arena is the site of public entertainment and combat sports. A comfortable domed arena has seating for hundreds of spectators. Beneath the arena are dressing and storage rooms for entertainers and training rooms and animal pens for the combat competitors. St. Dellen and St. Olm's residential cantons. St. Dellen Canton and St. Olm's Canton are residential cantons for commoners and paupers. The temple charges very reasonable rents for comfortable workshops, shops, and apartments, and most of Vardenfell's crafts and light industry are housed in these cantons. The Abbey of St. Dellen the Wise is on the top tier of St. Dellen, and Hlalu councillor Ingling Half-Troll has a top-tier manor on St. Olm's. Transportation. Footbridges connect with the mainland between the Evanhart region and Hlalu compound, between the North Bay region and the Foreign Quarter, and between the East Bay region and the Telvanni compound. Good roads lead from the Hlalu compound bridge south to Evanhart, and north to Sedanin and Points North. Good roads lead from the Foreign Quarter bridge west toward Sedanin, north toward Suren and the Ascanian Isles, and east toward Molagmar. Roads from the Telvanni compound bridge are useful mostly for travelers to Molagmar. Siltstrider service is available at the north end of the Foreign Quarter bridge, traveling from Vivek to Suren, Sedanin, Thalmor, and Molagmar. Ships from the docks at the Foreign Quarter travel to Evanhart, Laod, Molagmar, and Tel Bernal. Ships from nearby Evanhart sail to Laod, Sadrith Tel Bernal, and the Foreign Quarter of Vivek. Low-fare gondolas shuttle passengers from canton to canton via Vivek's canals. Realizations of Acrobacy by Master Runan Zebabi. Story of a struggle between Telvanni councillors. Master Gothrin agreed to see the acrobats because he needed entertaining. For months now he had been struggling with his fellow Telvanni councillor, Master Nella. Recently he always found himself on the defensive. It was intolerable, Master Gothrin losing a battle with the contemptible Neloth. Inspired by their master's weapon, Mehrune's razor, Neloth's normally cowardly troops had been nigh invincible. Gothrin's own troops had no hope except to pray that Mehrune's Dagon would reclaim his artifact. Considering how much havoc it was causing, it seemed likely that the Daedra Prince would allow Master Neloth its use for some time to come. An acrobatic distraction would be a welcome relief. "What tricks can your troop perform?" asked the wizard to the lead acrobat, Runan. "Mighty Gothrin, alas, we know no tricks. All the realizations of acrobacy we perform are real with no illusions. We wish we knew tricks, for it's far too time-consuming to have to master actual feats." "Very well. What realizations of acrobacy can you perform?" asked Gothrin with what almost looked like a smile. "Master Jareth will dazzle you as he juggles 15 flaming globes while hopping across broken glass. Master Tulikanda will astound you as she supports her body with one finger while rotating hooks in ornate patterns with her legs. Master Mirvis will take a simple ebony blade." "And the Outlander female?" asked the Ashcan with some disapprobation and a dismissive gesture toward the Redguard woman in the troop. "Master Senyidi? Ah, mighty Gothrin. She hails from the Alakir desert of Hammerfell, where she was renowned for her skill at climbing sheer surfaces. You must see her work to believe it. She moves vertically like you and I move horizontally." "That is all very well, but I do not like outlanders in my court," said the Ashcan. "Many are spies." "Oh, well, Master Neloth felt similarly that—" "Neloth?" roared Gothrin. "You entertained that whoreson?" "2 days ago, yes. I remember that he said there had been strained relations between you two. He also has some concerns about the Outlanders in our troop, though it was our Khajiit tumbler, Master Saraba, who he was particularly suspicious of. In fact, the irony is that he thought Saraba was a spy for you. Well, you know Khajiit. Actually, maybe you don't. They are a slave race who holds little interest to me," growled Gothrin. "You're like Master Neloth, then," said Runan quickly, fully aware of Gothrin's growing rage, which that particular comment had only inflamed. He wasn't used to Khajiit either, or their dark sense of humor. They took some sarcastic comments from Master Saraba literally, and we all ended up being tortured for information about you and your troops. You probably haven't had the experience of being tortured for information you don't have you? I wouldn't recommend it. Eventually, we were let go on the understanding that we would never set foot in Sadrith Moor again. Actually, not all of us were let go. Master Saraba had apparently died under torture. You have probably had experience torturing the slave races and know how easily they break. No, I haven't, replied Master Gothram. The Fury was dead. We should have probably left then, but we decided that he still owed us for the entertainment we provided under torture. We weren't sure how to collect, but he mentioned during the course of his ravings that he had a very valuable bauble, a razor of some kind. Mehrune's razor, he gasped. What did you do? Master Harakastil and Thalmor compressed themselves low enough to squirm under the gates so they could lower the bridge into the main courtyard of the stronghold. Masters Tulkianda, Nervis, Jareth, and I performed a pyramid to give Master Senyidi a boost up to the Tower of Telnaga. She scaled up to the top. She scaled it? Asked Gothram, who was familiar with the tower. It was high, but the surface of these Telvanni mushrooms is practically a ladder to someone of Master Senyendi's skills. In a few minutes' time, she was in the room with the razor in hand. A few more minutes, she was back down the tower, and we were running for the gateway in. Now, with all humility, I would say that no one is faster on their feet than our troop, but Master Neloth's guards were surprisingly quick. I sent the troop through the gate to the docks while I distracted the guards. I confess I never associated brave actions with traveling acrobats, said Gothram. It wasn't bravery, it was economics, smiled Runan. I considered the amount of gold and time it takes to train a good troop, and it seemed smarter to try to save everyone. In any case, I lured the guards around to the back of the gateway inn, far from the others, and when I was sure they were safe, I jumped off the wall and into the water. You jumped off the wall? Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I did. It's pretty tall. It was a simple matter, especially since I could land on the water. Still, it's only a matter of rolling and twisting the body, like so. I'll demonstrate it if you want. Later, if you please, said the Ashcan. What happened then? We arrived here at court, said Runan simply. And when did Master Neloth get Mehrune's razor back from you? Mighty Gothran, that part of the story hasn't happened yet, said Runan. Are you ready for us to perform for you now? I hadn't told you yet about our latest realization of acrobacy when Master Mugus takes a simple ebony blade and juggles it in one hand, and a handful of marshmallow reeds in the other. I don't want to give the whole effect away, but at the end of the act, you have some very fine sheets of papyrus. It sounds delightful, Master Runan, said Gothram. I look forward to seeing it in a few days' time, but I must leave now to meet Master Neloth on the field. I will soon return for a victory celebration, and I want to see all your realizations of acrobacy. In the meantime, you will be honored guests, with every luxury the Archmagister of House Telvanni can afford. So, the room and board will be almost as nice as a third-rate show in Rahad, said Senyindi as they took their rooms a few hours later. Why do we bother with these backwoods performances? There are already so many jugglers in Rahad, said Runan with a shrug.
Feyfolken by Joaquin Yarth. The Great Sage tells the story of Artaeum, Sigix, and robotic enchanters. Volume 1. The Great Sage was a tall, untidy man, bearded but bald. His library resembled him. All the books had been moved over the years to the bottom shelves, where they gathered in dusty conglomerations. He used several of the books in his current lecture, explaining to his students, Taksim and Vongldak, how the Mages Guild had first been founded by Venus Galerion. They had many questions about Galerion's beginnings in the Sigic Order, and how the study of magic there differed from the Mages Guild. It was, and is, a very structured way of life, explained the Great Sage. Quite elitist, actually. That was the aspect of it Galerion most objected to. He wanted the study of magic to be free. Well, not free exactly, but at least available to all who could afford it. In doing that, he changed the course of life in Tamriel. He codified the praxes and rituals used by all modern potion makers, item makers, and spell makers. Didn't he, Great Sage? Asked Vongldak. That was only part of it. Magic as we know it today comes from Venus Galerion. He restructured the schools to be understandable by the masses. He invented the tools of alchemy and enchanting, so everyone could concoct whatever they wanted, whatever their skills and purse would allow them to.
without fears of magical backfire. Well, eventually he created that.
What do you mean, great sage? Asked Taksin.
The first tools were more automated than the ones we have today. Any layman could use them without the least understanding of enchantment and alchemy. On the Isle of Artaeum, the students had to learn the skills laboriously and over many years. But Galerian decided that was another example of the Sigic's elitism. The tools he invented were like robotic master enchanters and alchemists, capable of creating anything the customer required, provided he could pay.
So someone could, for example, create a sword that would cleave the world in twain? Asked Vongodak.
I suppose, in theory. But it would probably take all the gold in the world, chuckled the great sage. No, I can't say we were ever in very great danger, but that isn't to say that there weren't a few unfortunate incidents where an unschooled yokel invented something beyond his ken. Eventually, of course, Galerian tore apart his old tools and created what we use today. It's a little elitist, requiring that people know what they're doing before they do it, but remarkably practical.
What did people invent? Asked Taksin. Are there any stories?
You're trying to distract me so I don't test you, said the great sage. But I suppose I can tell you one story, just to illustrate a point. This particular tale takes place in the city of Alanor, on the west coast of Somerset Isle, and concerns a scribe named Thalbad. This was in the Second Era, not long after Venus Galerian had first founded the Mages Guild, and chapter houses had sprung up all over Somerset, though not yet spread to the mainland of Tamriel. For 5 years, this scribe, Thaurbad, had conducted all his correspondence to the outside world by way of his messenger boy, Gorgos. For the first year of his adoption of the hermit life, his few remaining friends and family of his dead wife, truth be told, had tried visiting, but even the most indefatigable kin gives up eventually when given no encouragement. No one had a good reason to keep in touch with Thaurbad Hozik, and in time, very few even tried. His sister-in-law sent him the occasional letter with news of people he could barely remember, but even that communication was rare. Most messages to and from his house dealt with his business, writing the weekly proclamation from the Temple of Oriel. These were bulletins nailed on the temple's door, community news, sermons, and that sort of thing. The first message Gorgos brought him that day was from his healer, reminding him of his appointment on Turdas. Thaurbad took a while to write his response, glum and affirmative. He had the Crimson Plague, which he was being treated for at considerable expense. You have to remember, these were the days before the School of Restoration had become quite so specialized. It was a dreadful disease and had taken away his voice box. That was why he only communicated by script. The next message was from Alfieres, the secretary of the church, as curt and nauseous as ever. Thaurbad, attached to Sundas's sermon, next week's event calendar, and the obituaries. Try to liven them up a little. I wasn't happy with your last attempt. The Thaurbad had taken the job putting together the bulletin before Alfieres joined the temple, so his only mental image of her was purely theoretical and had evolved over time. At first he thought of Alfieres as an ugly, fat slowness, covered with warts. More recently, she had mutated into a rail-thin spinster orchess. Of course, it was possible his clairvoyance was accurate and she had just lost weight. Whatever Alfieres looked like, her attitude towards Thaurbad was clear, unwavering disdain. She hated his sense of humor, always found the most minor of misspellings, and considered his structure and calligraphy the worst kind of amateur work. Luckily, working for a temple was the next most secure job to working for the good king of Alanor. It didn't bring in very much money, but his expenses were minimal. The truth was, he didn't need to do it anymore. He had quite a fortune stashed away, but he didn't have anything else to occupy his days. And the truth was further that having little else to occupy his time and thoughts, the bulletin was very important to him. Gorgos, having delivered all the messages, began to clean, and as he did so, he told Thaurbad all the news in town. The boy always did so, and Thaurbad seldom paid him any attention. But this time he had an interesting report. The Mages Guild had come to Alanor. As Thaurbad listened intently, Gorgos told him all about the guild, the remarkable archmagister, and the incredible tools of alchemy and enchanting. Finally, when the lad had finished, Thaurbad scribbled a quick note and handed it and a quill to Gorgos. The note read, "Have them enchant this quill." "It will be expensive," said Gorgos. Thaurbad gave Gorgos a sizable chunk of the thousands of gold pieces he had saved over the years, and sent him out the door. Now, Thaurbad decided, he would finally have the ability to impress Alfieres and bring glory to the Temple of Oriel. The way I've heard the story, Gorgos had thought about taking the gold and leaving Alanor, but he had come to care for poor old Thaurbad, And even more, he hated Alfierez, who he had to see every day to get his messages for his master. It wasn't perhaps for the best of motivations, but Gorgos decided to go to the guild and get the quill enchanted. The Mage's Guild was not then, especially not then, an elitist institution, as I have said, but when the messenger boy came in and asked to use the item maker, he was greeted with some suspicion. When he showed the bag of gold, the attitude melted, and he was ushered into the room. Now, I haven't seen one of the enchanting tools of old, so you must use your imagination. There was a large prism for the item to be bound with magicka, assuredly, and an assortment of soul gems and globes of trapped energies. Other than that, I cannot be certain how it looked or how it worked. Because of all the gold he gave to the guild, Gorgos could infuse the quill with the highest priced soul available, which was something Daedric, called Feyfolken. The initiate at the guild, being ignorant as most guild members were at that time, did not know very much about the spirit, except that it was filled with energy. When Gorgos left the room, the quill had been enchanted to its very limit, and then some. It was virtually quivering with power. Of course, when Thaurbad used it, that's when it became clear how over his head he was. "And now," said the great sage, "it's time for your test." "But what happened? What were the quill's powers?" asked Taksim. "You can't stop the tale there," objected Vongeldak. "We will continue the tale after your conjuration test, provided you both perform exceptionally well," said the great sage. Feyfolken by Wageen Yarth, Volume 2. After the test had been given, and Vongeldak and Taksim had demonstrated their knowledge of elementary conjuration, the great sage told them that they were free to enjoy the day. The two lads, who most afternoons fidgeted through their lessons, refused to leave their seats. "You told us that after the test, you'd tell us more of your tale about the scribe and his enchanted quill," said Taksim. "You've already told us about the scribe, how he lived alone, and his battles with the temple secretary over the bulletin he scripted for posting, and how he suffered from the crimson plague and couldn't speak. When you left off, his messenger boy had just had his master's quill enchanted with the spirit of a Daedra named Feyfolken," added Vongeldak, to aid the great sage's memory. "As it happens," said the great sage, "I was thinking about it now. However, the story does touch on some issues of the natures of spirits, and thus is related to conjuration, so I'll continue. Thaurbad began using the quill to write the temple bulletin, and there was something about the slightly lopsided, almost three-dimensional quality of the letters that Thaurbad liked a lot. Into the night, Thaurbad put together the Temple of Auriel's bulletin. From the moment he washed over the page with the Feyfolken quill, it became a work of art, an illuminated manuscript crafted of gold, but with good, simple, and strong vernacular. The sermon excerpts read like poetry, despite being based on the archpriest's workmanlike exhortation of the most banal of the Elysian doctrines. The obituaries of two of the temple's chief benefactors were stark and powerful. Pitifully mundane deaths transitioned into world-class tragedies. Thaurbad worked the magical palette until he nearly fainted from exhaustion. At 6 o'clock in the morning, a day before deadline, he handed the bulletin to Gorgos for him to carry to Alfierez, the temple secretary. As expected, Alfierez never wrote back to compliment him, or even comment on how early he had sent the bulletin. It didn't matter. Thaurbad knew it was the best bulletin the temple had ever posted. At 1 o'clock on Sundas, Gorgos brought him many messages. "The bulletin today was so beautiful. When I read it in the vestibule, I'm ashamed to tell you I wept copiously," wrote the archpriest. "I don't think I've seen anything that captures Auriel's glory so beautiful before. The cathedrals of Firsthold pale in comparison. My friend, I prostrate myself before the greatest artist since Galileo." The archpriest was, like most men of the cloth, given to hyperbole. Still, Thaurbad was happy with the compliment. More messages followed. All the temple elders and 33 of the parishioners, young and old, had all taken the time to find out who wrote the bulletin and how to get a message to congratulate him. And there was only one person they could go through for that information: Alfierez. Imagining the dragon lady besieged by his admirers filled Thaurbad with positive glee. He was still in a good mood the next day when he took the ferry to his appointment with his healer, Telemachio. The herbalist was new, a pretty Redguard woman who tried to talk to him, even after he gave her the note reading, "My name is Thaurbad Hulzik, and I have an appointment with Telemachio for 11 o'clock. Please forgive me for not talking, but I have no voice box anymore." "Has it started raining yet?" she asked cheerfully. "The divine has said it might." Thaurbad frowned and shook his head angrily. Why was it that everyone thought that mute people liked being talked to? Did soldiers who lost their arms like to be thrown balls? It was undoubtedly not a purposely cruel behavior, but Thaurbad still suspected that some people just liked to prove that they weren't crippled too. The examination itself was routine horror. Thalmor performed the regular invasive torture, all the while chatting and chatting and chatting. You ought to try talking once in a while. That's the only way to see if you're getting better. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in public, you can try practicing it by yourself, said Thalmor, knowing her patient would ignore her advice. Try singing in the bath. You'll probably find you don't sound as bad as you think. Thaurbad left the examination with the promise of test results in a couple of weeks. On the ferry ride back home, Thaurbad began thinking of next week's temple bulletin. What about a double border around the last Sundas's offering plate announcement? Putting the sermon in 2 columns instead of 1 might have interesting effects. It was almost unbearable to think that he couldn't get started on it until after Alfier sent him information. When she did, it was with the note, "Last bulletin a little better. Next time, don't use the word fortuitous in place of fortunate. The words are not, if you look them up, synonymous." In response, Thaurbad almost followed Thalmor's advice by screaming obscenities at Gorgos. Instead, he drank a bottle of cheap wine, composed and sent a suitable reply, fell asleep on the floor. The next morning, after a long bath, Thaurbad began work on the bulletin. His idea for putting a light shading effect on the special announcement section had an amazing textural effect. Alfiera's always hated the extra decorations he added to the borders, but using the Feyfolken quill, they looked strangely powerful and majestic. Gorgos came to him with a message from Alfiera's at that very moment, as if in response to the thought. Thaurbad opened it up. It simply said, "I'm sorry." Thaurbad kept working. Alfiera's note he put from his mind, sure that she would soon follow it up with the complete message. "I'm sorry, but no one ever taught you to keep right-handed and left-handed margins the same length." Or, "I'm sorry, we can't get someone other than a weird old man as scribe of our bulletin." It didn't matter what she was sorry about. The columns from the sermon notes rose like a massive pillar of roses, crowned with unashamedly ornate headers. The obituaries and birth announcements were framed together with a spherical border as a heartbreaking declaration of the circle of life. The bulletin was simultaneously both warm and avant-garde. It was a masterpiece. When he sent it off to Alfiera's late that afternoon, he knew she'd hate it, and was glad. Thaurbad was surprised to get a message from the temple on Lordas. Before he read the content, he could tell from the style that it wasn't from Alfiera's. The handwriting wasn't Alfiera's usual belligerent slashing style, and it wasn't all in Alfiera's usual capital letters, which read like a scream from oblivion. Thaurbad, I thought you should know Alfiera's isn't at the temple anymore. She quit her position yesterday, very suddenly. My name is Vanderthal, and I was lucky enough, let me admit it now, I begged pitifully, to be your new temple contact. I'm overwhelmed by your genius. I was having a crisis of faith until I read last week's bulletin. This week's bulletin is a miracle. Enough. I just wanted to say I'm honored to be working with you. Vanderthal. The response on Sundas after the service even astonished Thaurbad. The archpriest attributed the massive increase in attendance and collection plate offerings entirely to the bulletin. Thaurbad's salary was quadrupled. Gorgos brought over 120 messages from his adoring public. The following week, Thaurbad sat in front of his writing plank, a glass of fine Torvali mead at his side, staring at the blank scroll. He had no ideas. The bulletin, his child, his second wife, bored him. The third-rate sermons of the archbishop were absolute anathema, and the deaths and births of the temple patrons struck him as entirely pointless. Blah, blah, he thought, as he scribbled on the page. He knew he wrote the letters B-L-A-H, B-L-A-H. The words that appeared on the scroll, however, were a necklace of pearl on a white neck. He scrawled a jagged line across the page. It appeared in through that damn beautiful Feyfolken quill, glory to Oriel. Thaurbad slammed the quill and poetry spilled forth in a stream of ink. He scratched over the page, blotting over everything, and the vanquished words sprung back up in different form, even more exquisite than before. Every daub and splatter caused the document to whirl like a kaleidoscope before falling together in gorgeous asymmetry. There was nothing he could do to ruin the bulletin. Feyfolken had taken over. He was a reader, not an author. "Now," asked the great sage, What was Feyfolken from your knowledge of the school of conjuration?
What happened next? Cried Vongelduck.
First, tell me what Feyfolken was, and then I'll continue the story.
You said it was a Daedra, said Taksim, and it seems to have something to do with artistic expression. Was Feyfolken a servitor of Azura?
But the scribe may have been imagining all this, said Vongeldak. Perhaps Feyfolken is a servitor of Sheogorath, and he's gone mad. Or the quill's writing makes everyone who views it, like all the congregation at the Temple of Auriel, go mad.
Hermaeus Mora is the Daedra of knowledge, and Hircine is the Daedra of the wild, and the Daedra of revenge is Boetia,
pondered Taksim,
and then he smiled. Feyfolken is a servitor of Clavicus Vile, isn't it?
Very good, said the sage. How did you know?
It's his style, said Taksim, assuming that he doesn't want the power of the quill now that he has it. What happens next?
I'll tell you, said the great sage. Continued the tale. Feyfolken by Wageen Yarth. The great sage tells the story of Artaeum, Sigix, and robotic enchanters. Volume 3. Tharbad had at last seen the power of the quill, said the great sage, continuing his tale. Enchanted with the Daedra Feyfolken, servitor of Clavicus Vile, it had brought him great wealth and fame as the scribe of the weekly bulletin of the Temple of Auriel. But he realized that it was the artist, and he merely the witness to its magic. He was furious and jealous. With a cry, he snapped the quill in half. He turned to finish his glass of mead. When he turned around, the quill was intact. He had no other quills but the one he had enchanted, so he dipped his finger in the inkwell and wrote a note to Gorgos in sloppy big letters. And Gorgos returned with a new batch of congratulatory messages from the temple, praising his latest bulletin. He handed the note and the quill to the messenger. The note read, "Take the quill back to the Mages Guild and sell it. Buy me another quill with no enchantments." Gorgos didn't know what to make of the note, but he did as he was told. He returned a few hours later. "They wouldn't give us any gold back for it," said Gorgos. "They said it wasn't enchanted. I told them. I said, 'What are you talking about? You enchanted it right here with that Feyfolken soul gem.' And they said, 'Well, there ain't no soul in it now. Maybe you did something and it got loose.'" Gorgos paused to look at his master. Tharbad couldn't speak, of course, but he seemed even more than usually speechless. "Anyway, I threw the quill away and got you this new one, like you said." Tharbad studied the new quill. It was white-feathered, while his old quill had been dove-gray. It felt good in his hand. He sighed with relief and waved his messenger lad away. He had a bulletin to write, this time without any magic except for his own talent. Within 2 days' time, he was nearly back on schedule. It looked plain, but was entirely his. Tharbad felt a strange reassurance when he ran his eyes over the page and noticed some slight errors. It had been a long time since the bulletin contained any errors. In fact, Tharbad reflected happily, there were probably other mistakes still in the document that he was not seeing. He was finishing a final whirl of plain calligraphy on the borders when Gorgos arrived with some messages from the temple. He looked through them all quickly until one caught his eye. The wax seal on the letter read "Faithful." With complete bafflement, he broke it open. "I think you should kill yourself," it read in perfectly gorgeous script. He dropped the letter to the floor, seeing sudden movement on the bulletin. Feyfolken's script leapt from the letter and coursed over the scroll in a flood, translating his shabby document into a work of sublime beauty. Tharbad no longer cared about the weird, croaking quality of his voice. He screamed for a very long time, and then drank heavily. Gorgos brought Tharbad a message from Vanderthil, the secretary of the temple, early Freydas morning, but it took the scribe until mid-morning to work up the courage to look at it. "Good morning. I'm just checking in on the bulletin. You usually have it in on Turdas night. I'm curious. You planning something special?" Vanderthil. Tharbad responded, "Vanderthil, I'm sorry. I've been sick. There won't be a bulletin this Sundas," and handed the note to Gorgos before retiring to his bath. When he came back an hour later, Gorgos was just returning from the temple, smiling. "Vanderthil and the archpriest went crazy," he said. "They said it was your best work ever." Tharbad looked at Gorgos, uncomprehending. Then he noticed that the bulletin was gone. Shaking, he dipped his finger in the inkwell and scrawled the words, "What did the note I sent with you say?" "You don't remember?" asked Gorgos, holding back a smile. He knew the master had been drinking a lot. "I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like, 'Vanderthil, here it is. Sorry it's late. I have been having severe mental problems lately. Tharbad.' Since you said 'here it is,' I figured you wanted me to bring the bulletin along, so I did." And like I said, they loved it. I bet you get 3 times as much letters this Sundas. Thauerbad nodded his head, smiled, and waved the messenger lad away. Gorgos returned back to the temple, while his master turned to his writing plank and pulled out a fresh sheet of parchment. He wrote with the quill, "What do you want, Feyfolken?" The words became, "Goodbye. I hate my life. I have to cut my wrists." Thauerbad tried another tack. "Have I gone insane?" The words became, "Goodbye. I have poison. I hate my life." "Why are you doing this to me?" "I, Thauerbad Halsik, cannot live with myself and my ingratitude. That's why I have put this noose around my neck." Thauerbad picked up a fresh parchment, dipped his finger in the inkwell, and proceeded to rewrite the entire bulletin. While his original draft, before Feyfolken had altered it, had been simple and flawed, the new copy was a scrawl. Lowercase i's were undotted, g's looked like y's, sentences ran into margins and curled up and all over like serpents. Ink from the first page leaked onto the second page. When he yanked the pages from the notebook, a long tear nearly divided the third page in half. Something about the final result was evocative. Thauerbad at least hoped so. He wrote another note reading simply, "Use this bulletin instead of the piece of trash I sent you." When Gorgos returned with new messages, Thauerbad handed the envelope to him. The new letters were all the same, except for one from his healer, Telemachio. "Thauerbad, we need you to come in as soon as possible. We've received the reports from Blackmarsh about a strain of the Crimson Plague that sounds very much like your disease, and we need to re-examine. Nothing is definite yet, but we're going to want to see what our options are." It took Thauerbad the rest of the day and 15 drams of the stoutest mead to recover. The larger part of the next morning was spent recovering from this means of recovery. He started to write a message to Vanderthil. "What do you think of the new bulletin?" with the quill. Feyfolken's improved version was, "I'm going to ignite myself on fire because I am a dying no-talent." Thauerbad rewrote the note using his finger and ink message. When Gorgos appeared, he handed him the note. There was one message in Vanderthil's handwriting. It read, "Thauerbad, not only are you divinely inspired, but you also have a great sense of humor. Imagine us using those scribbles you sent instead of the real bulletin. You made the Archbishop laugh heartily. I cannot wait to see what you have next week. Yours fondly, Vanderthil." The funeral service a week later brought out far more friends and admirers than Thauerbad Halsik would have believed possible. The coffin, of course, had to be closed, but that didn't stop the mourners from filing into lines to touch its smooth oak surface, imagining it as the flesh of the artist himself. The Archbishop managed to rise to the occasion and deliver a better than usual eulogy. Thauerbad's old nemesis, the secretary before Vanderthil, Alfieres, came in from Cloudrest, wailing and telling all who would listen that Thauerbad's suggestions had changed the direction of her life. When she heard Thauerbad had left her his quill in his final testament, she broke down in tears. Vanderthil was even more inconsolable, until she found a handsome and delightfully single young man. "I can hardly believe he's gone, and I never even saw him face to face or spoke to him," she said. "I saw the body, but even if he hadn't been all burned up, I wouldn't have been able to tell if it was him or not." "I wish I could tell you there'd been a mistake, but there was plenty of medical evidence," said Telemachio. "I supplied some of it myself. He was a patient of mine, you see." "Oh," said Vanderthil. "Was he sick or something?" "He had the Crimson Plague years ago. That's what took away his voice box. But it appeared to have gone into complete remission. Actually, I had just sent him a note telling him words to that effect the day before he killed himself." "You're that healer?" exclaimed Vanderthil. "Thauerbad's messenger boy Gorgos told me that he had just picked up that message when I sent mine, complimenting him on the new, primitive design for the bulletin. It was amazing. I never would have told him this, but I had begun to suspect he was stuck in an outmoded style. It turned out he had one last work of genius, before going out in a blaze of glory, figuratively and literally." Vanderthil showed the healer Thauerbad's last bulletin, and Telemachio agreed that its frantic, nearly illegible style spoke volumes about the power and majesty of the god Oriel. "Now I'm thoroughly confused," said Vongeldak. "About which part?" asked the sage. "I think the tale is very straightforward." "Feyfolken made all the bulletins beautiful, except for the last one, the one Thauerbad did for himself," said Taksim thoughtfully. "But why did he misread the notes from Vanderthil and the healer? Did Feyfolken change those words?" "Perhaps," smiled the great sage. "Or did Feyfolken change Thauerbad's perceptions of the words?" asked Vongeldak. "Did Feyfolken make him mad after all?" "Very likely," said the great sage. "But that would mean that Feyfolken was a servitor of Sheogorath, said Vongeldag. And you said he was a servitor of Clavicus Vile. Which was he? An agent of mischief or an agent of insanity?
The will was surely altered by Feyfolken, said Taksin. And that's the sort of thing a servitor of Clavicus Vile would do, to perpetuate the curse.
As an appropriate ending to the tale of the scribe and his cursed quill, smiled the great sage, I will let you read into it, as you will.
Hello, love.
Can I ask you something about the Blooded Dawn?
It's a long story. Might explain when we find some place to rest.
Let's rest here.
I'll get myself comfortable then. My love.
The Blooded Dawn. They worshipped Mehrune's Dagon, didn't they?
Pieced it all together, have you? Aye. They followed his doctrine, and for a time so did I. Believe me when I say it's part of my past I'd rather forget.
This sounds like something I need to know about.
I shouldn't be keeping secrets from you, I know. Before I say anything, just know I'm a different person now. Or I'm trying to be. That life, I've left it far behind, so what do you need to know?
Tell me about their doctrine.
Mehrune's Dagon rules over destruction, change and revolution. The Blooded Dawn believe this a necessary evil. Fires that purge the old to make way for the new. The weak are hunted to make room for the strong. The only way to know the true self was through suffering and violence. They saw beauty in torture and death that could rival the Dark Brotherhood. The truth was that they were just violent people, willing to justify what we did to others around us. Then there was one night where I just couldn't justify it anymore.
What happened?
The farm happened. It was a small estate outside Leowin. We were raiding it for supplies, but everyone just got out of control. The things that were done to that family. I wish I could forget it, but perhaps I don't deserve to. Night after night, I couldn't get their screams out of my mind till the only thing I could think to do was destroy the cult itself.
That's how you got away?
Aye. Sort of. It didn't go exactly as planned, you see. I had a woman at the time. Rosalind. She was the clan's priestess. Very talented in conjuration magic. I didn't want her to die with the rest of them, and I thought she'd be on my side. Stupidest assumption I'd ever made. I wanted to know if her magic could make me stronger. She said it could. Well, she turned her magic against me instead. When someone you think you love tries to burn you alive in the fires of oblivion, and summons Demora to tear the flesh from your bones, it tends to change how you see them. The hideout was destroyed in the fight. I don't know if anyone survived it.
I can see why you wouldn't want to say anything.
Aye. All the same, I'm sorry I kept it from you.
Did you love Rosalind?
At the time I thought I did. I know better now. I know what it actually means to love someone.
So this is why you hate magic?
Yeah. It might be a cause of a few prejudices.
Let's talk of something else.
Aye. Hey, you.
I'd like to hear more about your time with the Blooded Dawn.
It sounds mad when I say it now, but I was happy when I first joined the Blooded Dawn. They praised me at every turn. It made me feel like I was part of something important. I just couldn't see past my damned ego. Mehrune's Dagon required blood sacrifices to prove our loyalty. Sometimes before, with women. Some of the men in the cult, I never participated, you understand? But I stood by while it happened, and I did nothing to stop it. I would kill a man every now and then, and I told myself I was keeping order. And other lies to help myself sleep before the drink washed away the rest of my conscience. And Rosalind, she encouraged it. Took a kind of sick satisfaction in seeing others humbled, humiliated, or killed. She tried to get me to join in. Said I should prove myself a man and be the stronger for it. I see now we were barely even human. Bad memories, you understand?
I understand. Thanks for telling me more, Kaiden.
I'll tell you the rest another time, alright? How are you? Are you feeling okay?
Come on, let's get going.
Alright, let's see where this takes us.
There's a very large garden out. We need to collect a lot of different flora samples if you want variety.